How can you use video to really connect with your audience?
Let's talk about that.
Right, so we're back again, and wait a second. What am I doing in this chair? You're not Aaron. Who are you? Explain yourself to these viewers and listeners at home.
Some of you may recognise me or hear my name mentioned in slander or in complimenting manners on a lot of our content.
Shouting commands.
Yep.
Asking you why you're
for
there.
Brucey bonus overlays.
Yeah. Well, you've been behind the scenes a lot, but the veil has been lifted.
It has.
This is your official first Tea Talks. It's also a first for me because it's the first time I'm going to kind of be hosting the Tea Talks. And normally this is Aaron's chair and that's my chair, but we swapped it up today. And so it's just you and me. This is officially... Yeah, I thought I'd be the first to go, but it turns out it was Aaron, and it's just us today. And the reason why it's just us, myself, you all know me already, Darren, and Archie, just because we hadn't mentioned your name up until this point. The reason why it's both of us is because we're both on the creative team.
Yep.
As head of creative, as junior video content creator.
Yep.
We do a lot of the creative for Evergreen and for our clients. And a big thing that we've been doing recently, in fact, we've been doing about 4 or 5 of them in the past couple of weeks, which is a lot, but it's great, is brand films.
Yes.
And I thought it would be a great idea because we've talked about the brand films that we're doing on some of our uncuts that we're making. And if you haven't seen those, go and check out Evergreen Uncut, behind the scenes into the Evergreen agency. And I thought, actually, we've talked about brand films here and there, little bits, but wouldn't it be great to do a Tea Talks where we properly go into what a brand film is, why you need it, why it's different from an ad, and what are some of the things that we're doing for the brand films with our clients.
And the variety. I mean, they're so different, the ones we've done already.
That's exactly it. So you are absolutely right there. We have such a variety in just the handful that we've been doing so far. And you can get creative with some of them. That's one for you.
That
is. So, first off, I thought I'd start us off, and for the people at home as well, just to talk about what is a brand film and how is it different from an ad. So, we talk about ads all the time on here, so hopefully you at home are familiar with what an ad is, but to give you
I'd hope so, to be watching.
You would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
To do a very brief overview, basically, if you see a sponsored post on Meta, on Facebook, on Instagram, then that would be an ad. So we do ads all the time for our clients. They tend to be around 15 seconds.
Yep.
They tend to be quite sales oriented.
Yeah.
Let's say that
the messaging's usually very sales focused.
There's usually a sale. There's usually a product we're trying to sell. It's usually about selling something.
Yeah.
Selling a product or service. And I liken the difference between ads and brand films as ads aim for the head and brand films aim for the heart. Because an ad, you're almost trying to convince someone in a more logical sense that it's like, oh, you've got an interest in this thing, this product or service? Well, then this is the one for you. And you go, oh, yeah, that's a good price. Or, oh, yeah, that's a good brand. Oh, yeah, that's got some good features. That makes sense for me to want to buy that. And you can still go for more of an emotional approach on ads.
Yeah.
But I think a large part of doing those ads, because you've got short space, you need your call to action, you need your hook. And we've gone over how to make the perfect YouTube ad in a different video, recently. In a different Tea Talk. So go and check that one out for some more details on ad specifics. But I think where brand films really shine,
it's
this dog making an appearance. I think where the brand films really shine is that you can go even deeper on an emotional level.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way to really showcase the values of your brand, to showcase who you are, maybe where you've been and where you've come from.
Yes.
There's so many different avenues. And you can even just give a slightly more in-depth view.
Because you've got more time.
That's it.
You've got more time.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because whereas our ads tend to be up about 15 seconds, a brand film can be 1 to 2 minutes. So you have a lot more time, and that allows you to go in more depth.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference between ads and brand films.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden, and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode, we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing, and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
Now, why? Why would you want to do a brand film?
It's a very good question, Darren. Why would you want to do it, Darren?
Well, I think...
Brand film.
I think it's a great way, as I've said, to connect emotionally with your target audience. Because especially in this day and age, and especially if you're in a very competitive market,
yes,
it can really give you an edge, because you could Amazon.
Yeah.
Let's use Amazon as an example. They sell pretty much anything. But no one wants to give Jeff Bezos more money.
No.
Let's face it.
Definitely not.
Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. And I still use Amazon.
So do I.
I'm not going to lie. It's convenient. But I said to you the other day, I love a local bakery.
Yes. Did say this to me while we were filming a brand film.
While we were filming a brand film. I love a local bakery. And you know, part of the reason why I love a local bakery is because it's local, because it's real people. And the older I get, the more I like to support local businesses, because they're real people. They're real people who it really matters. Jeff Bezos is not going to care.
Exactly. You go in a local bakery, you meet the people that make the product.
Yeah.
But if you're an online store, for example, closest you can get that is through a brand film.
Yes,
isn't
that's
it?
That's it.
Through seeing the faces, seeing the people.
Because sometimes if you're selling a product that's e-commerce, for example, you might not have a chance to be that local baker meeting their customers.
Even though you're in your workshop handcrafting these.
That's it. Yeah, you're putting so much of your time and effort and energy and love and care into what you're making, but you don't necessarily get that face-to-face time. So a brand film is a great way to really showcase everything about your brand from an emotional level. And with some of the editing, not to toot our horn too much, but with some of the editing that we can do with the music, with the camera angles, with all the different types of shots, whether it's drone shots or close-up shots, slow-mo shots, all of these different things, you can really make it look quite cinematic.
We can,
and
that most definitely.
And it does. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, I get very excited about these sorts of things. As I know you do as well, because it's truly special when you see these brand films put together. And as I said, we are working on a couple with our clients at the moment, and they're already loving what we're doing. So it's super, super exciting. And that actually is a really good segue to talk about the brand films that we're making.
It is.
So I'm going to hand over to you for a second. I'm going to throw you in the deep end. Right, just imagine that, me throwing Archie in the deep end of the pool. I want you to choose.
Awful image.
I want you to choose one of the brand films that we've been doing recently.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell the people at home a little bit about it.
Which one? I think the most fun one for me so far has probably been for Hot Tubs.
Hot Tubs Oxfordshire. Yes, and I'd say that's probably in the most different one that we've done as well.
Definitely. It was very unique. We had me following Darren around for the whole day, controlling a camera on his chest.
Yes.
Which was quite fun, organising about 12 actors.
Yes,
as well.
they were friends and family of the brand, and most of them are not actors, but I will say they did a fantastic
They did
job.
do a really good job. And I think everyone had a very, very good time.
It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of people. So so keep going, keep explaining.
I think that was my favorite by far. It shows a very unique perspective of a proper first-person view of a customer being shown around the showroom, meeting, the family that run it to some extent. We had a lot of family acting as well.
Yeah.
It gives you the full experience, really highlights the company's personality, I think, in video very well. It's very them, it's very fitting, and shows how good of a experience it is. So.
It is, yeah, and it really it showcases the product, because it shows what they're buying. They're buying hot tubs, or steam rooms, or swim spas. We had people using the products, which is great.
In almost every shot, someone using a product, which is
fantastic.
Really nice.
We had the owners actually speaking to camera.
Yeah.
So again, and we talked a little bit about this before, where when you have the people who are actually in those, especially if it's an on-site location, if you have the people who are going to be there in your ads or in your brand films, it almost creates a little bit of that sense of knowing, so that when people come in after seeing those ads, they go, "Oh, I remember you from the ad. Exactly. I remember you from the brand film."
It's already like brownie points to a customer, isn't it?
It's
it's
almost
way more connected.
It's almost that celebrityism.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've definitely spoken about that before. We actually, one of our other hot tub brands, Aqua Warehouse.
Good point.
He's no stranger to a camera.
No, he loves it,
and he has even said to us before that people, when they come in and they see him and they go, "I remember you," it already creates that connection, and it's one step ahead of where you would be if you hadn't done it. So it's 100%. Really, really, really interesting. So yes, that's a great example of one of the things that we're doing. And to give you an example of one of the ones that I actually sent off to our client today, was for the Granite House, who sell granite worktops, and that one was more of what you would say a sort of classic brand film style.
I would,
but still very, very exciting. Where we had the owners talking to camera, they were reading from script, but then we also had lots of B-roll, because their brand is very visual in behind the scenes.
Extremely, the level of detail they get to is extreme.
And the different tools they use. It's beautiful in slow motion. But it's very, very visual. So we've included all of that in there. But again, a big part of their business that not a lot of people know is that they're very local to Bicester. So we made sure to include that. We made sure to make a point of the fact that they are almost in the centre of Bicester, which a lot of people don't know. And to say that a lot of the people who work for them are based in Bicester. It's a very local business. And I think when people know that, like me with my local bakeries, they want to support that. They want to make sure that they're getting things that are local, and it's almost that sense of community. And I think that's what that brand film is going to do, is create that sense of community.
Well, by conveying that, I think you give that sense of quality and of care, because they're in the area. It's not like a massive conglomerate that's gonna, they don't care about you. You're just a number. Whereas, with like the Granite House, it's very close. It's very personal. It's local. They really care about all their customers, which I think the brand film conveys really well.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we've explained it perfectly. And hopefully you understand the importance, the value of a brand film. And this now actually is a great time just to tell people at home that it's a new service that we're going to offer.
Get in touch.
Yeah, it's so whether you're a client of ours, and if you are, you've probably already heard us talking about brand films, but
we're probably doing one for you.
We're probably doing one for you right now. But even if you're not a client, and even if all of your paid media needs are met, and you're like, I love what these guys do, but I don't need any more Google ads or Meta ads. So I've got that all sorted at the moment, but I'd love a brand film.
Yeah.
You don't need to be one of our clients to access that. We can do it as a solo project. So I'd love to talk to anyone who would who'd be interested. So yeah, we don't tend to sell a lot on Tea Talks. We tend to just have discussions about things. But this is one of the instances where I am actually going to say to you watching right now, if you'd be interested in just talking about the potential of us making a brand film for you, then get in touch. Whether that's with me on LinkedIn, or whether that's sending an email to hello@theevergreenagency.co.uk. I'd love to do it. And I think we'll end it there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.